I know you just put up to the bar, but we close.
Come on, man. You gotta be able to give me a shot, man. Come on.
You look like you need a drink, man, but I hate to tell you this, man. We about to close.
So you mean to tell me all these people out here, they got drinks and they got shots, but I can't get nothing. The bar closed that soon?
Okay, man. I don't know what else to say. I got this shorty half my age at the crib, and I'm trying to get to it. But last call was 10 minutes ago.
You know what? It's alright. Don't even worry about it.
All right. Tell you what. I'm gonna get you one drink, cause it look like you need
one drink. I can do one drink. I can do one drink, cause I really yeah.
Hey man, anything man. Look like you got a lot on your mind and you need a friend right now. Pour it on me. Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome to Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome.
One of the things we want to brought to you by is Minecraft. That's right. We starting this year off right. And this one right here is my boy, Craftmatic. He's the owner. He's the founder. He's the creator. He's the motivator. He is the man. Tell everybody about Minecraft, my brother.
All right. So Minecraft is my personal baby. It is, I would say my ministry. Okay. And ultimately what it's about is about helping people to be more effective at managing this.
Say it.
Managing your thoughts, managing your beliefs, managing your attitude, managing your life through hard times and challenges. And so we have created a systematic approach on how to improve yourself from your own living room.
Mm.
And the question that we are asking to help people understand what we're trying to accomplish is the good book says that a good man falls 7 times.
Ooh.
The question becomes is after the first time he falls
right.
and gets back up,
mm-hmm.
is he still on 10?
Mm.
Or did he fall to an 8 or a 5, right? When he falls the second time,
right?
Is he a 3 or a 2? At that point, his spirit, his energy, his effort in life, his positivity, his faith, his mindset. And so we have created a system that helps the man who falls and gets back up to re-strengthen himself in his mind, re-strengthen his focus, re-strengthen his attitude. And so, we're very excited about this product that we've created with Minecraft. It's called Active Mindfulness, that we need to learn how to activate our mind toward positivity, to activate our mind towards strength and confidence, right. Activate your mind in peace. Whatever you need, you have access to, but in most cases, people kind of wallow in their challenge. They wallow in maybe their failure, maybe their setback, right. And maybe beat themselves up and start having a negative attitude, etc. We found a way to help you stay positive and stay focused. And one of the other things I'll mention is when we think about mental health, we typically think about sick people. We think about people with anger management issues. We think about people who may have dementia or anxiety issues, etc. But I want to change the definition of mental health. Mental health will, from now on, is a healthy outlook on life. A healthy and positive outlook on life. So active mindfulness and Minecraft is here's how to rebuild the strong man. Here's how to rebuild the person who's trying to make something happen in their life. We're trying to rebuild the person, the single mom, maybe the person who went through a divorce, maybe the person who lost their business. Whatever those setbacks might be, you've got to find a way to strengthen yourself on the inside. And we just haven't had a way to strengthen ourselves on the inside. But I've got something fantastic, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with the world. I appreciate you allowing me to share this, Jay.
Not a problem.
Because this is my life's work, and it's what I'm planning to do for the next 40 years. So catch up with me on minecraftcentral.com. You can also catch up with me on activemindfulness.com. Again, that's activemindfulness.com. A lot of great information, a lot of insight on how to take better care of your mental health and your feelings, emotions, attitudes, and beliefs.
All day long.
All day long, man. So I'm real pleased with that program, man. And thank you for letting me share today, man.
The reason why is because, see, Bar Talk with Jay is to sit us down, and it's about a conversation. And at the end of the day, before that conversation I wanted to lead to something stronger. And mental health will be what I would want to encourage somebody when it sits down with me with a problem. So it really ties, because again, to help someone, you could comfort them in a conversation,
Right.
but to lead them to a better way of looking at circumstance and how to better their life is
Yes.
a lifelong goal that I would love to have a part with. Because again, just to make them feel good, you could be lying to them, make them feel good.
Listen, we can make people feel good, but that don't mean they're gonna stay in that zone.
Exactly.
That don't mean they know how to feed themselves. We can feed them, but do they know how to feed
Feed
themselves?
And that will keep them stronger and growing.
Absolutely, man.
And that's what I like about that. That's
Yeah.
exactly why
Yeah.
I'm the sponsor. Because again, if you guys can understand what we're trying to do, I promise you it leads you to a better place.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
we've
sir.
been through it all. Lord
And we've been
mercy.
through a whole lot, bro. So much that, you know, we almost can feel sometimes like we have already overcome life.
Mm.
That life, you know, has bared down on us. You know, we've seen the troubles, we've seen the pains, we've seen the frustrations, we've seen the setbacks, we've seen the enemy working against us,
Right.
and sometimes we've seen ourselves working against ourselves. And it's time for a new way to live. It's time to live with the spirit of health and positivity and fruitfulness in our lives. And that can only happen from the inside out,
Say it.
right? That motivation doesn't happen by things and stuff. Motivation happens by how I think and my spirit and my confidence and my strength on the inside. So yeah, I appreciate that. Again, how you doing tonight, Smooth Jay?
Man, let me tell you, man, excited, you know, new year. But
Yes.
my whole thing is just excited. Weather is definitely changing.
Yes.
Okay. That's a little challenge. But again, you know, it reminds me, man, to stay more active, not in the cold though. To stay more active, to watch myself and make sure I take my vitamins, man, and stay on top of my health.
There you go. There
Because
you go.
again, it's
And I
just
think that
time.
is a great way to introduce our show. This is Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay.
in the building.
And we are here to liberate your minds and souls with a fabulous dialogue.
Yes.
We're going to chop it up on the subject here for about 30, 40 minutes. And as we do, it seems like the conversation just continues to get deeper and deeper and deeper. And it seems like, you know, the second half of the show, we're really hitting some powerful ideas that can help you grow and help you be your greatest possibility. And in fact, tonight's show, we're talking about how do you know that you're with the wrong person? I didn't say right person.
Oh, I know.
It's easy to tell when you're with the right person.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that.
And it might be easy to tell when you're with the wrong person. But as you entertain us, as you know, here with us tonight, and you hear these words and you hear these messages, find some ways to dial in and find some ways to start thinking about your particular situation, how you're going to handle it, what you're going to do. The key to this dialogue is that you get some meaningful nuggets to put in your spirit, so that when you get to the situation, you've already made the decision how you're going to handle it. You've already made the decision. And many of you, perhaps who are in relationships, may need to address some things
Oh, it's gonna
that
come out tonight.
perhaps, you know, aren't making you happy, or some things that might be getting on your last nerves, some things that says, I don't know if we're gonna make it. And right now I'm holding on to something that just might not be worth my time anymore. Right? We're not judging people in this conversation.
No.
We're not saying that they're bad people. We might just be suggesting that they may not be the right for us. Maybe they might not be right for us at this time. And so how do you know that you're with the wrong person? Is the subject for today. And of course, we always start the show off with a prayer. And so I'm just going to pray over the subject that we are discussing today.
All right.
Let's get the Lord's intake.
Definitely.
Heavenly Father, we come to you now just to thank you for all that you are in our lives.
Yes.
You are our strength, our comforter, our help, our way maker. And we know that we are nothing without you. And so we ask, Heavenly Father, that you would strengthen us with your wisdom and intelligence tonight on the subject of having wrong people in our lives. Give us the right discussion, give us the right ideas, give us the right intuition, give us the right reasons to separate ourselves from those who do not belong in our worlds anymore. Show us, Lord, the avenues for which we can assess these people and not just fire them, but to make a conscious decision that they just may not belong. How do we protect ourselves from wrong people and wrong circumstances and wrong situations? Lift us in our spirits, Lord, and give us a strength and a confidence that allow us to do what you would have us to do in our lives and in our relationship. We ask that you would be in this show to speak your good and perfect work. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Ooh.
Amen. Woo, man, you know, I often talk about my prayer, and there again in my mind, I'm clawing and scratching to reach into the spirit for right answers. I'm clawing for intelligence. I'm clawing in my mind. I'm saying, Lord, give me something that I've never seen before. Open something in my mind and give me a fruitful idea that'll help me protect myself. Because I'm thinking in my prayer, I can't protect myself sometimes. Sometimes we're caught up in situations and we're caught up in maybe even thought processes. We've been sold dreams and we bought those dreams, and sometimes they just are not right for us. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in a relationship. Sometimes you can have a wrong job.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you can hire the wrong person.
I've done that.
Sometimes you can have the wrong friends. You know, sometimes, again, you know, you got a loved one in your life, and perhaps you've been with them for some time and you realize that it's just not a good fit. What do you do when you find yourself in a situation with someone that just doesn't fit? How would you respond, Jay?
Well, we talk about relationships all the time, but I'm going to go with the job.
Okay.
And a lot of times when I hire somebody, I'm really trying to see how they fit in the interview. Now, again, it just reminds me of dating, because usually you got a person that's putting on the front. They're giving you the best answers. They're telling you because they want a job, not exactly what they're going to do when they get the job. So I'm listening to them and I'm seeing how they can fit. And then you get them there and then you see no urgency to work, no willingness to do anything other than what you tell them, and not to do no more than that if possible.
Right.
Not a self-motivator at all. So now this is something I didn't really catch on the interview. So now I'm trying to see where I can still position them. I was like, listening to you, I don't just try to fire them. I don't try to get rid of them. I feel like I'm a coach. And as a coach, you got to sometimes get somebody to play up. I got to let them know this is a team effort, you know. So I'm going to work with you. So now I'm going to have to do some one-on-one. So I might have a trainer, but I might take it upon myself. I don't always have the time, but I know people. And a lot of times the wrong person will send you down the wrong path.
Yes.
I already know what kind of person I am. So I will take the time to work with them. Now, what I'm noticing, and they ain't trying to listen to me and they ain't trying to do anything that I'm telling them. At this time, I'm starting to make a move to move them out.
Yes.
Because that's just like a snake to me. It's just going to light fire to all the other people and spread poison. So there's my job to figure it out and then make the proper moves that ever I feel like I need to do. And then we're going to go into relationships. And I like to say the same way. I don't always get a person that's coming as their true self. They've been through stuff, so they're going to tell me the things that they don't want to put up with, this, that, the other. I need to know you.
Yeah.
I don't really need to know all you've been through. I need to see if you've been healed through it and come at me in a better way, where I can see you're a good fit for me, where we can work this out. It's kind of hard to do when you got so many people playing.
Absolutely. And watch this. I just want everyone to hear the dynamics of what just unfolded in Jay's dialogue there, right? He mentioned the interview scenario, right? So now we got somebody new coming into our sphere of influence.
Right.
And as we interview them, they get to tell me who they are.
Thank you.
But somewhere down the road, what you told me just may not line up with who you really are.
They lied.
It, you know, what you conveyed to me is probably who you want to be. But when I look at you 2-3 months down the road, who you really are is not that person.
Say it.
And so, you know, sometimes we get mixed signals, right? Especially in the dating world. Because like you said, people come with their mask.
Yes.
You know, they come with their intent to show their best self.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that, coming with your best self. But your truth will be revealed.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something you can run from. You can't run from the fact that you're not an on purpose person, and you tried to make me think that you were.
Thank you.
You can't run from the fact that you might be a little disrespectful, and now I can see that you really don't care. You can't run from the fact that you're not willing to work hard. You're not willing to go hard in the paint. You said you were,
But I don't see it.
but I don't see it. So now, right? Here's a dynamic in this equation.
I'm listening.
I seen one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was told one thing.
Right.
I bought in, and now I see something else. What needs to happen now?
You got to go back to the table.
Change. We've got to change, right? The dream that I bought into ain't real. The dream that I bought into is fallacy.
Correct.
The dream that I hoped you were and what you said you were, now I got to go back and make some new decisions.
Yep.
And I think that's the key to the whole equation. If you find that perhaps you are in a situation or you're with someone in a relationship and they are the wrong person, it's time to make a new decision. It's time to change your mind and perhaps change your behavior, change how you spend money, change how you spend time, change, whether you want to see them or not anymore, or change how you interact with them.
Yep.
Right? Because as we all have been there, when you get to that place where you realize who they are,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not what you thought they were, now there's some disappointment inside of me.
Ooh, say that again.
Now I'm feeling a little upset. Now I'm feeling like you lied to me,
Totally.
or you misrepresented. And so now I'm starting to feel some kind of way because I thought you was X, but you really Z. You know what I'm saying?
About to be out.
And so again, this is not one of those conversations just to be negative. This is one of those situations to wake up to the truth. And if you got hired by an employer and the employer said, you know what, and in 3 to 6 months, we got some management opportunities coming up, and I think you're gonna be a good fit based on your background. Why don't you get in, learn the company a little bit, get to know the people and some of the processes, and then all of a sudden you keep getting passed by, and here it is a year, 2 years later, and you done got passed by several times for a management position. Now it's time to make a new decision.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, I think there's that the essence of this part of the conversation happens often, and people don't make the new decision. They stay there.
Yeah.
They stay there and they wallow in their pain. They stay there and they allow themselves to be miserable. They allow themselves to maybe keep trying again for something that just ain't working. Right. And so it's kind of the definition of insanity, right?
It is.
If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. And that's just the name of the game. So making change, even once you kind of dug in, is necessary.
It is. But I will say it is also hard. Because
It's also hard.
somebody
Yes.
say you're going to get this position, and then you be like, okay, so now you're preparing yourself for it. You're thinking that this is a positive thing. So now you're preparing yourself for something that's not happening. And then when you go back to that person and you be like, yo, any word about when that might transpire? Oh, through the last couple of weeks, a lot of changes is happening. We don't know if we really going to be a good fit right now. And you'd be like, okay, so when was you going to let me know that information? Because now it's starting to be disrespectful.
Right.
Because now you wasted my time.
Right.
Now, at this point, I will tell you, it's not always wise to speak your emotions, because I know you hurt at that moment. This is that time to get yourself together, because when one person tell you they don't see it, that don't mean another person can't.
That's exactly right.
So I'm automatically going back and I'm dusting off the resume, and I'm about to start applying to other places, because again, you gonna play with me, I'm just gonna leave you.
Yeah, and
That's
see,
the best way I handle it.
and Jay, you're talking about that space where I'm now disappointed. I'm upset. I feel like you used me.
Yeah.
You lied to me.
Kept me
I feel
on.
you led me on, right? And listen, that's a bad feeling.
Mhm.
When somebody leads you on, it recently happened at my job. We had 2 managers in place, and then we had another guy who was a top performer.
Okay.
They were grooming him to take over, to take one of the positions, maybe move one of these guys up or potentially move one of these guys out. But one day, a couple of weeks ago, one of the managers decided that he was going to resign. All right. And it wasn't no, easy thing. It was a tense, heated kind of conversation. And he had just said, I'm just fed up. And he was like, hell with this, I'm gone.
Okay.
Now, all of a sudden, they decided they're not going to replace him. And they've been grooming this other young man for several months. He comes early. He stays late. He goes to management meetings. He tries to participate and help and coach us, you know what I'm saying? And coach the team. And, he's been making efforts to prove his readiness for management. And now all of a sudden, nothing. And the first thing he said to me, in fact, the first thing I said to him is, new manager's gone. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Are you ready?
And he said, with the Lord, I can do all things. And I said, absolutely, man. I said, when you get in that position, I'm going to make sure I show you favor and show you love. 2 days later, the news came down. Oh, we're not going to replace that manager. Now, watch this. It even goes deeper, Jay.
Oh, my goodness.
Because they had 2 managers, and let's just hypothetically say 2 managers produce 100 units a month.
Okay.
Well, if one manager leaves, do you still expect the one manager to produce 100 units?
In today's time, I think they do.
I mean,
realistic, but
I don't know how they expect him to hit the same number that 2 people can hit. That's almost impossible. So now the guy who's staying in the management job, he feel like he got bamboozled.
Right.
He like, wait a minute, I'm doing the work of 2 people and I've been grooming somebody, and now you're not gonna. This is the ideal time for me to put them in the position and show them the keystrokes, show them what process works, show them what to do, coach them, be by their side. Now that's not happening. So the company has gone back on the promise. The upper level managers have gone back on the promise, and now it makes me feel slighted. It makes me feel, and here's the thing for that young man, that high producer, he drives over an hour to get to work. And when he was frustrated 6 months ago and considering leaving, they made him a promise. And so he was already thinking like, you know what, I can go work at the location, 10 minutes from my house.
Thank you.
Make the same money that I'm making. And now I got an extra 2 hours a day to spend with my family.
Right.
But they done upset him now.
Oh, he gone.
And that's what I'm thinking. He's gone, right? He's gone. He's gone because one of the things I love about salespeople, real genuine salespeople, is that they're quick to change. They're quick to make a decision. Hey, I ain't happy. I'm gone. Right. And they'll go find somewhere where they can be happy. Right. Because salespeople are typically commissioned, and I don't have to take your nonsense. I can go find that somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? There are other people paying the same commission as you paying. Let me just go and find some other opportunities because I don't have to deal with this. So here again, we're just talking about making a new decision. Don't be stuck in these trenches of life. That's the lesson here. If we don't have nothing else to say about this show, don't stay stuck in your trenches.
Totally agree.
Find some strength to say, even if you do nothing else, but just say to God, say to yourself, look in the mirror, this is no longer for me. And the reason why people stay there oftentimes is because people don't like change.
No. And they're comfortable.
They're comfortable, right? And that's what we all want to be. That's the nature of humanity. We want to be comfortable, but I can't be comfortable if you dogging me out. I can't be comfortable if you making me false promises. I can't be comfortable if you set me up for failure. If you're trying to put me together, if you promise me something and then you don't give it to me, I got to go
all day long.
Because here's what we know. Here's what we know about human behavior across the board. Past behavior equals future behavior.
Yep.
If they did it to you once, and it's more than likely you're going to see they didn't do it to you once, they did it to you several times, right? They misrepresented several times. But past behavior equals future behavior.
Right.
Very rarely do people and situations change. You have to change them,
Mhm.
right?
But sometimes leaving.
Now, let's deepen this conversation.
Hey, I'm right there with you, baby. Go for it.
So let's say you have a loved one
Okay.
and you're inside of the first year
Okay.
and you have been making valiant efforts to make your relationship work.
Okay.
You've been spending money, you've been spending time,
Mhm.
you've been letting somebody come into your world,
Right.
you've been letting somebody come into your house
Mhm.
and maybe into your scenarios and know about your history and your
Okay.
family, and so you're trying to build a bond,
Right.
but you get to a place where you say, you know what, they ain't trying as hard as I am.
Mm.
They don't seem like they want it as much as I do.
Mm.
They seem like they still want to play, dream, or drift, right? And so what do? There again, you can't allow yourself to be pulled into. Now you're on the verge of being pulled into a lifetime relationship.
Right.
When you know out front, before he gave you the ring, before he proposed, you knew he might be a cheater. You knew he might not manage his money well.
Mhm.
You knew he might not be a clean person. You knew he might not take care of his relationships. You knew he might do any number of things. But yet, rather than make the hard, cold, fast decision, you go ahead and marry him. You go ahead and marry her. And now, 2-3 years in the relationship, you are absolutely miserable.
Mhm.
Whose fault is that?
Mine, because I take accountability. I didn't have that conversation. Normally, I try to have goal setting in business and in relationship.
Right.
And the goal setting is not something everybody wants to say just control. But if you with somebody, y'all should be going somewhere. Not just going together, going somewhere. What is our long-term goals?
Right.
You know, and if
And-
we talk these things out and we talked about it, and I love to say that's a conversation everybody should somewhat have,
Right.
then you can start seeing where somebody falling short of it, because now we have a roadmap of what we're trying to do.
And I like that, Jay. The question becomes, at what point in the relationship, what do I need to know in order to begin setting expectations for the future? Because if I know some bullshit,
We ain't gonna set it on that.
we probably ain't gonna set no goal.
It's gonna be hard to set it when you know you're dealing with that. But
The
that
goal
means-
might be I need to get rid of your
you
ass
go.
by August.
because it's
maybe
not
by
gonna
Thursday.
make it. You know, if I'm sitting down and we're trying to set some goals for long termness or what we're trying to do, not just the marriage. I know that's usually what a woman's gonna ask a man on upfront. That's what they really want.
That's what they want.
But
Yeah.
my whole thing is past the marriage, past the reception, all this money you want to spend. What is our long-term goal? Because we're blending families together. So I need to know our long-term goal. And that way we can work to this. And that means the marriage and all the rest. But I need to see where your mind's at, because that's what I can hold a person to. Because this is what we said we're going to do. That way, when somebody out there doing something else, spending money on things other than what we was trying to plan and do, I can see where we're falling off. So we can have a quick conversation, because we already had some boundaries about what we're trying to do.
And listen,
But without that, it can run real ruggish, and then you be like, okay, well, you get back on court. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, without a conversation.
Yeah.
You're playing around for upset.
yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, Jay, I have been in scenarios where I really love this person that I was with.
Ooh, okay,
I care deeply for them.
nothing wrong with that.
But I always kind of had the notion that they weren't
The one,
qualified. They weren't the one.
one.
That's a better way to say it,
Oh,
right?
You got it really
I see
dog.
I see you like, ooh,
Yeah,
qualified. That they weren't the one,
They wasn't the one.
right? And so I didn't set the goals.
Yeah.
Right. Because the goal was naturally, especially after a couple of years, the goal is naturally we should get married. Right.
Mhm.
But if I get married, I'm inviting
Into my life.
that thing into my life. Not her,
Yeah.
right? Or not him, but that other thing
Yeah.
that causes you trouble. The other thing that you really reject or rebuke. I'm inviting that other
Mhm.
thing. And I just ain't got time. I don't want to be alone, but I ain't got time to
for
deal
that.
with
Yeah.
that for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we could just if we could just marinate and just keep loving and supporting one another, right? I oftentimes, Jay, I'll be honest with you, man. I'm one of those guys. I have oftentimes looked at relationships and marriage, and I'm like, aside for the insurance, what's the benefit?
I'm only laughing because again, this is real conversation. This is real talk.
I mean, besides for the life insurance policy, besides for the health benefits, besides for sharing expenses, what's the benefit here? You know what I mean?
And benefits her.
Yeah, because if I'm unhappy, then I'm not so sure that
it's gonna benefit her more than you.
It's gonna benefit her more than me.
Yeah, especially if you're a person that again makes good money and you're doing things in a positive way. I'm just saying. It's going to benefit. It's giving her that security that they all want. Okay. And I understand that. But everybody shouldn't get your security. Everybody shouldn't get your money. And a lot of time people aim more for that than anything else. How you know you with the wrong one? I heard somebody say, man, me and old girl about to get married. And, I'm finding out I got some health issues. And then she said, yeah, so we need to hurry up and get married. See, you noticing things then. You can hear it in people's conversation. How you know you with the right one? They supposed to care for you and they ain't even worried about that. But see, sometimes people want to rush that to make sure they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's a selfishness. And then I heard women say all the time, men wait so long before they get married again till they're about, ran down and ain't nothing really working. And I hear them. And I'm not mad at some of the things they say. I get mad at who's saying it because you looking for somebody to give you security because you can't do it yourself. But you quick to talk about somebody else and how they out there doing their thing. If a person got a good life going on, just settling down with you probably ain't gonna be our top priority. Yeah, because I worked hard to do everything I had to do. You just came in and now you expecting. I'm sorry to tell you, my expectation is to be a stronger me. I'm in competition with myself. So I'm always striving to do more. I don't need you to do that for me. I do that.
Right.
So money and making, that's one of the great things that I'm always pushing myself. So now I got somebody over here just want to, if something happened, I want to make sure I'm good. All for me. All the work I did.
If something happened. Right?
Yeah, if something happened.
So there is a possibility that you could be in a relationship and still be expecting something to go awry. You could be in a lifetime relationship, or maybe you could be going with them, right, and you still might be expecting something to take place that will pull you apart. And I think to some degree you're kind of working toward it if that's your mindset.
Yeah. If you're negative like
right?
that. But is that what you want? And that's not. I would want a person that's looking long term for my health and my benefit.
You know what, Jay? We want a friend to spend our life with.
Yes.
That's what we want, a friend to spend our life with. A friend is closer than a brother. The word says that a friend can be closer than a brother, and that's what we want. We want companionship. We want a healthy companionship. We want somebody who's looking out for our well-being.
Yes.
We want somebody who understands us. We want somebody who treats us like family. We want somebody who acknowledges our worth and believes in us.
Say it.
Right. And the question becomes, because the institution of marriage is failing us. Right. And we know when half of the people who get married are ending up in divorce, that institution doesn't seem to be producing fruit. And one of the things that I have thought, Jay,
what you thinking,
is that people don't understand what a lifetime relationship look like. You ask yourself, other than a marriage, is there any other lifetime relationship that you have with a person where you are with them every day?
No.
Not a one.
Nope.
So we don't know how to do that.
Nope.
And so what happens is,
not every day.
When we come into agreement with somebody who we love, it's sometimes like we overcommit. I always liked a relationship where if you don't want to be here, leave. If I don't want to be here, I can leave. But how many homes are people unhappy and forced to stay?
Ooh, many.
Boy, that don't come together right at all,
No,
right?
it don't.
And you find that there'll be a lack of communication. Sometimes you know, I've had many couples who've been together for years, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, tell me that they spent many of those years mad with each other. They spent many of those years sleeping in separate bedrooms. They spent many of those years taking separate vacations and not eating dinner together, all kinds of stuff, right?
Right.
But
think about that, Kraft. If you was raised and you seen that, and you seen them in separate bedrooms, you're starting to have thoughts of marriage yourself.
you starting to
What
buy
you
in,
seen.
you're buying into their stuff.
Right. And it's not even a healthy stuff, right?
It's not
But
healthy.
they
That's
stayed
right.
together for you.
Yeah.
You know how many times you hear that? We're gonna stay together, until the kids get of age, and then we'll split. Okay.
Right.
They don't understand the misery that you can put on them kids, because we see y'all unhappy. We see y'all really don't speak to each other. You know what I'm saying? It's not the love that we used to see when we was younger. Now it's more of the bitterness. You're short with one another. You're smart, and then you get smart with us. So then we grow up, and now we're starting to remember some of the stuff we went through. Now, I'm in competition. I'm always trying to do better than my parents. I want to be better than what my father is, because that's just the competition in me. But I'm also building it off of something broken. Their relationship is not what I'm supposed to build that off of at all. So my strongness is to get a better comfort than what I knew. So I have to look somewhere else.
Right.
So I have to explore. Now, I ain't saying everybody would do this, but it was just me.
Right.
I had to explore what a healthy relationship was. So in the neighborhood, I seen my best friend Cameron Powell, mother and father, and they was not like that. If they ever have any arguments, wouldn't know. They wouldn't do it in front of us.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
What they showed us was loving and caring. So I said, okay, now I have a role model of looking at some things. And I got that with neighbors and people in my community, not TV. So I was able to build a relationship. So I was able to go to Mr. and Miss Powell and talk to them when I had some problems, besides going to my mom.
Yes.
I was able to build some things. That's going to be up to you how you look at things. But it's a better or a same. It's easy just to follow what you see. And it's also a little bit of work to do something different. If you want something different, you got to do something different. And that's why in relationship with the wrong person, you tend not to want to do anything. And that's not healthy.
You tend not to want to do anything. And now your actions, your effort, your intentions, your expressions to them are kind of zero.
Yeah.
Right. You're not even trying anymore. Right.
Nope.
And let me just try to shift the dynamic of this conversation just a little bit here. Sometimes we judge things harshly, harsher than the reality. Right?
Okay.
You loved this person once upon a time. You got along with them. You had some career, some expectations and aspirations, and you set boundaries, and you honored each other's boundaries.
Right.
Right. And then maybe something happened that turned you sour. Maybe something happened that changed your mind about that person.
Okay.
But it doesn't make them a bad person. And it may not even make them the wrong person.
Okay.
Relationship requires fight. Relationship requires work. It requires sometimes you not getting what you want. It requires patience. Sometimes we call it long suffering. But what we are considering to be a wrong person may not be a wrong person. It just may you're not willing to fight for it anymore. It may be you don't know how to overcome the issue that you're dealing with, right? And one of my favorite, I'll just say one of my favorite things that people do when their relationship is in trouble is they go talk to the pastor. Because now you're talking to someone who knows how to move the spirit in your relationship.
Okay.
That it's almost like they could have a magic wand, because if they prayed over your relationship rightly, that somehow the doorways of challenge would be removed, so you could finally see one another again. You could finally start communicating again, right? Okay. And oftentimes when we think of wrong person, we think of maybe some of their bad habits, or we think of how they upset us, or we think of that thing that they did a long time ago, that doesn't make them the wrong person. The wrong person is that I have no future with this person. The wrong company, the wrong job, the wrong career path, I have no future here. We're going nowhere.
Fast.
Right. And we're going nowhere, not because of any other reason than I've given up. You see?
Oh, I'm hearing you.
I because for a number of years you loved them and you was well and everything was good. And some trouble's always going to be some things happen, right? We all bring faults and baggage to the table. And perhaps those faults and that baggage creates the upset, but it doesn't mean they're a bad person. It doesn't mean they're the wrong person, right? I'm attempting. There's someone in a relationship now who has a good person in their life, but the relationship isn't working well. It doesn't mean that they're the wrong person. It means that you have to change some of the ways you see the world. You have to change some of the ways you deal with troubles and pains. You have to change the way you communicate. Maybe you, again, one of my buddies, he says it's impossible for two people to spend their entire lives together without God. And so maybe you need to reach and bring a little more God in your relationship. Maybe you need to ask for some divine intervention. Maybe you need to ask the Lord for some help. Maybe you need to ask for more support. Maybe you need to ask for wisdom. Maybe you need to ask the Lord to change you.
Say it.
We oftentimes want to change them.
Yeah.
Right. Even the work environment that I'm in right now, there's some things that, I don't really like. Right. But I could walk around miserable every day. But I said, Lord, strengthen me to do what I need to do, because it's not a bad company. It's not bad people. They do some things that, hinder the business. They do some things that minimize their results, right? But they're good people. And so I'm not going to give up on them no more than they are giving up on me. They're not giving up on me either. Right. So I'm just encouraging you that in that current relationship, whether it be job, whether it be personal, I want you to assess the situation with a genuine heart. Correct. And one of the things I like to do, and I think it even do it to a fault, is I like to take ownership of everything that's wrong. I don't like to point the finger. Right. I need to be like, you know what, Crab? Let's just say it's not them, it's you. So how are you going to change you? Because you can't change them. Right. I can't change the processes, the pay plan, the people, none of that. But I can change me. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to work. And I'm going to make the best of the situation. Lord, show me how to make the best of this situation. Show me divine favor. Show me who are my real companions and my real support. And I'll lean on them rather than lean on the people who might get in my way. Right? What is happening? I'm changing myself. Yeah. And so when I look out there and I point to what might be wrong, I can't change what is wrong, but I can change how I see what is wrong. Exactly. And it'll change my actions, behavior, my understanding, my perception. It'll change my reality. And I think in just about every situation under the sun where you're unhappy or things aren't going well, that's what's needed in the equation. I need to change myself. Right. I need to look at this thing a little differently, right? I've been in relationships with people, and I'm just talking about a few short-term relationships where you're getting to know people, and then I'm with you. And then you find that thing that you're like, hey, I can't live with that, or or that that's not cool, or maybe she's a beautiful person, we're just not on the same playing field. You know what I mean? A couple of those. Yeah, and so now what I'm going to do is, rather than hurt her feelings by rejecting her, then I'm just going to slowly but surely make my way on back to another direction. Right. I have no need to tear her down, because what I might say to her would hurt her feelings so bad that it would leave her, incapacitated. And that's not what I want to do. Right. Because when you try to coach and direct and develop your lady or your man, that sometimes those things can come across like, hey, you beating up on me. Yes, all you want to do is say something. Every time something happens, you want to say something negative. But I realize that, if I don't say something, then you're going to end up doing shit again. If I don't deal with it, then you're going to end up making it happen. So I try to say it and say it lovingly and deal with it. But in those scenarios where there's a short-term relationship, that I look at what the situation is, and then I change my mind, and then I make moves that's going to make sure that we both can get taken care of, right? Now, it's not easy breaking bad news, but you can do it without creating more strife and damage, right? And that's what it takes. Watch this, Jay.
What you got?
I just want to share some qualities about people that would make them be considered the wrong person.
You want me to throw a couple of them out there first?
Throw me a couple out there. What you got? What kind of qualities do you absolutely will not have in your life? Disrespectful. Yeah.
Because I can't tolerate a person that cannot respect and take the time to listen.
Listening is so important.
You want to fight me. You want to argue with me. Throwing words out there. I don't like people to throw things that you don't really have understanding. Just talk from you. To me, people that don't even want to set any boundaries because you're easily ran over. I have boundaries. I'm going to let you know about my boundaries. And once you start crossing them, I feel like now you're disrespecting me because you're not listening to what the boundary was set. And this is where the problem lies. And this is why it's easier for me to leave, because I set these up front. And I like people to have their own boundaries as well. And I say, okay, now we can work together with each other. And these are the things that I'm noticing people are doing. And again, how your mouth is, your tongue.
Ooh, boy, that mouth, man.
That can be very devastating.
Like people who pop off at the mouth, you just can't deal with that.
I gotta tell you how I feel, and I'm gonna do this, and you really are very, very rude in your deliverance. You're a rough person. You got rough landing. You just give it out to a person, and you're not really caring about how they feel. But my whole thing is when you give it back, they can't take it because they use it as a defense. That's their way of getting somebody off of them. Well, my whole thing, your defense can make me feel like I don't need that, and these are the things that I just really don't tolerate a whole lot on the upfront. And I usually try my best not to bring none of that out because, again, no matter what I've been through, it's not for me to keep going back to the person that did it. It's the fact that I learned from it.
Yeah.
And what I don't like is when somebody keep bringing up what somebody else did. Okay. If they did that to you and you found out you didn't like it, now it becomes you to take ownership of what I do and I don't like. I like for a person to be more mature, not to be kind of childish, to be like, well, my last ex did all that to me and he did this and he. You telling me about a lot of people that already had you. I'm not trying to hear all that. I need to know you. So if that person did that, I know I've been through something and I'm not going to go through this again because I'm going to be a better person and you trying to bring me down. Okay, at that point, I'm not hearing them. I'm hearing you. I hear people talking on other people so damn much. I don't know you. All I know is they damaged the hell out of you. And at this point, I don't think that's what I want. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not there to fix you.
Yeah.
I wanted you to be healed. Like I went through some things to get healed. But to think that I'm going to sit here and tolerate you putting me in a position that I don't care for, no, them days is over with. I was my younger days.
What you just described, Jay, is you describe a person who's still broken. Mm-hmm. It's hard to bring a broken person into your life. A broken person could be considered the wrong person.
Yes.
Right? Selfish people.
Oh.
Jay, I met a lady recently, man, who's so giving. It's almost incredible. Her spirit is so giving. She wants to share and support and help and make you look good and make you feel good. She want to bring a smile to your face. I mean, I've never experienced anybody so giving in my life. And in fact, I'm looking at it like that you're too giving. You know what I'm saying? Whoa, relax on that giving, right? Not that I'm not one. I'm not used to it, right. Because you rarely find people who are that giving, right? But then you get to a point where you say, "Oh, well, are you giving for me, or are you just giving for you?" Because if you're giving for you, then it might not be about me, right? You giving for another reason, but that's the kind of person you want in your life. Mm-hmm. That's the right person. A giving, helpful, a person who's not selfish, right? We talked about the mouth. People who maybe have bad attitudes, they're temperamental, and maybe they're temperamental because they're not healed. Maybe they're temperamental with their mouth. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're temperamental and get to some of that disrespect. kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Every time you try to have a real discussion with them over something meaningful to you, that it winds up being an argument. And so, and then they get mad. And once they get mad, there's no discussion. Right. And I love passionate discussions. I like to get to a place where when you're talking to me, I can literally feel how you feel. Because that's what I'm attempting to do, right? And maybe that's my salesmanship. But if you're telling me your situation, I can hear the data and the statistics and the logic and the facts. But what I'm really more interested in is hearing how you feel. Because how you feel tells me what I need to know. If if you're feeling unheard and misunderstood, then I need to change myself. Because I need to make sure that you feel heard and understood. That's my job, my role if we in a relationship, right? And so, that there's another equation where I have to get myself out of the way so I can get to enough information to help the situation or potentially help us, right? We're talking about how do you know that you're with the wrong person? I think the biggest indicator that you're with the wrong person, it just don't feel right.
Yep.
It just don't feel like you're making progress. It just don't feel like this person's on your team. It just don't feel like you're ever going anywhere meaningful. It just don't feel like they're the kind of person who you plan to spend the rest of your life with, and or the rest of your career with. So again, as we started this conversation, it's about making decisions.
Yep.
And we have to be decisiveness. We have to be decisive in our relationships. We have to be very decisive in all that we do in our life. We can't just lounge on a situation. We can't just lounge on disparity and confusion. We can't just lounge when we're not communicating. That, those things cause more pain.
Right.
What we have to do is be decisive and then attack in the right way. You know what I mean? And the right way can be so many things. Again, going to a pastor, it could be reading a book. It can maybe be sitting them down. Maybe if you're in a heated situation with your spouse or a loved one, sometimes let's just go to dinner and not talk about any of that. Because what we need is a space to connect. And then once we connect, when I start talking about the difficult stuff, now I'm talking about it with empathy. Now I'm talking about it to you kind of from a loving perspective, not you over there and I'm over here, but now we found some common ground that, hey, we really can enjoy one another. We do like the same foods. We, you are beautiful, sweetheart. Sometimes when you're mad at people, you don't look at them, right?
Why would you?
And
You're mad.
especially, when you get upset, you stop paying attention. But if you go back to that when I first met you, what did I like about you? What attracted me to you in the first place? So now I can get the situation or the problem or the circumstance out of the way, and we can find a way to come back and just connect. The connection help us deal with the things and stuff. That's what I love about love making in a relationship, because there's things that are being said in the midst of those moments that words cannot say. And sometimes it's, you know what, man, I really care about you, girl. I'm so glad you in my life. I can't, I just can't I can't live without you. I know I did something dumb back there, or I knew he was arguing back there. I don't care what it takes. Those connectivity places in order for us to overcome. And if you don't have the connectivity places, create them. Right? Create them. I read a book once, and it said, basically the notion was these two people were, heated in discussion and argument. And so what she did was she said, honey, come have a seat. She fixed his favorite beverage. She lit a candle. The candle represented kind of the light of God.
Okay.
And so they're going to have a conversation with each other over the light of God.
Mm.
Now, it's hard to spew nonsense when you know you're in the presence of the Lord. Now you might say, well, rather than saying you pissed me off, I'll be like, honey, that really didn't feel good. It just didn't feel good the way you dealt with it. It didn't feel good the way you understand, the way you dealt with it, the way what you said to me. What you said to me hurt my feelings. But what happened there in that whole scenario, she was proactive at dealing with the issue that potentially made this the wrong person. Proactive. That's that decisiveness. That's that I'm going to do something out of the box, because again, if you continue to do what you've been doing, you're going to continue to get what you've gotten.
Correct.
So, I'm not sure what else we need to say on the subject, Jay.
I mean, you really killed it. Only thing else I can tell you is sometime when you have these conversations, give a little bit of time.
Time is so meaningful.
Even though you hear this and you be like, you got to make a decision, you got to do this. But if you give somebody some information that might be a little hurtful to them because of the things that they're doing, you also got to give them some time, because they got to adjust if they care to.
Right.
And my whole thing is, if they do care to adjust and you don't give them time, now they feel like you just on their behind.
Right.
And at that point, you become a nuisance to them. And then they're not. It's a fight against each other. So a lot of time I have a discussion with a person, and if it even starts to get heated, I say, we're going to readdress this. And the reason I say we're going to readdress it at another time, because I already see emotions getting high, and that's not my end result that I wanted. Now, one thing that somebody always told me they like, because I'm going to circle back to it. But when we circle back, we're not heated. We're in a different place.
We're in a different place.
Time, and then we could talk it out, because it shouldn't be argued out. It shouldn't be always yelled. I know some people like the fuss. I mean, some people just got that. That's what they like. That's y'all. I don't. I'm the kind of person that when you yell at me, it's disrespectful, and I don't like it.
And we shut down.
Yeah, because at this it's very defensive. I don't listen to you for the reason you want me to listen. I'm listening to, because now I have to defend myself, because you're in my space and you're saying things that makes me get where I'm getting hostile. Wait a minute, you in my face, you saying these things, and this is not where we should be. But some people feel like that's what all they're gonna do. I'm gonna fight all my life. I'm the kind of person, that's the person you was with, not me. That's why I said, don't treat me like you treat everybody else, because I'm gonna show you differently. Now you're showing me that you're going right back to another person's sandwich. Don't show me what somebody else done treated you or gave you. I've been giving you the best of me, and that's what I expect from you. And then you're gonna give me some past trauma. And that's where I said, these are the things that you really would know that's the wrong person.
There you go. There you go. And I think it's time to close with that.
Yes.
This has been Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic.
Yes,
this is my boy Smooth Jay.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to thank you folks for being here with us tonight. Again, this is just our opportunity to be leaders in our own community, because we wanted a place where we could talk about the problem and maybe even start talking about a solution. And I think we've hit a little bit of all of that today. We're here every Thursday from 7 to 8 Facebook Live. We've been here for the last 8 years, and which means we have hundreds of shows to take a look at, listen to, review. Please come back, like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends and family, and never forget that we do this because we love you and we appreciate you. And with that, we are out.
Ain't no last calls.